tonight's graduation ceremonies with Trumpet Tune by Purcell. The members of the faculty, the officers of the class, the valedictorian, the salutatorian, members of the clergy have made their way to their places on the big stage of the Warner Theater, and the graduation ceremonies for the class of 1959 are officially underway. Tonight's graduating class numbers 292. Of that number, 39 are on the honor roll, and 30 of the 39 are members of the National Honor Society. The invocation for tonight's graduation ceremonies will be delivered by the Reverend Vincent Mortellite of St. Peter's Church.
Let us pray. We are come, O eternal and most merciful God. We are come before Thee, hindered indeed by our many and grievous offenses, but nevertheless gathered in Thy name. Come to us and be with us. Vouchsafe to enter our hearts, the hearts of each member of the graduating class of 1959, their superintendent, principal, teachers, parents, and friends. Teach us what we are to do and where we ought to tend. Show us what we are to accomplish, in order that, with Thy help, we may be able to please Thee in all things. Suffer us not to disturb the order of justice, Thou who loves equity above all things. Let not ignorance draw us into devious paths, nor partiality sway our minds. Neither let respect of riches or persons pervert our judgment, but unite us to Thee effectually by the gift of Thine only grace, that we may be one in Thee and never forsake the truth. Inasmuch as we are gathered together in Thy name, so may we in all things hold fast to justice, charity, truth, and wisdom tempered with pity, so that in this life our judgment may in no wise be at variance with Thee, and in the life to come we may attain to everlasting rewards for deeds well done. Amen.
The entire audience will now join in the salute to our flag.
The United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible.
The senior double octet occupies the next part of our program this evening. The microphone's being moved now, and the senior double octet will make its way to the stage at the Warner Theater here. Once we are bringing you the Graduation exercises for the class of 1959 of Torrington High School, being presented as a community service by radio station WTOR. The double octet will have two selections to render this evening. The first being Poor Man's Garden by Russell, and the second selection, Blind Plowman by Clark. Double octet composed of 8 girls and 8 boys of the senior class of 1959.
Mighty fair and fine, I wonder
garden and lined from. The salutatory address will be delivered next by Anne Rochelle Accardo. The title of the salutatory address is Spiritual Success. The double octet is now making its way back down to their seats in the audience, and here is Miss Accardo.
Reverend Sirs, Mr. Hogan, Mr. Williamson, members of the Board of Education, parents, friends, and fellow classmates, we welcome you here this evening to our commencement exercises. Any truly successful person must have faith. Faith in himself, faith in his fellow man, and above all, faith in God. Only all of these three, working in perfect harmony with one another, can determine a rich and full definition of the word faith. First, a man must have faith in himself. He must believe that he can ply his efforts in such a way as to induce an ultimate fulfillment of his life's ambitions. He must also believe that his own willpower, his own perseverance, and his own ingenuity are his natural resources, which, with patience and toil, can bring unlimited success and self-satisfaction. This kind of self-confidence will not only act as a stimulant to his abilities, but it will also discourage the possibility of his becoming a helpless victim when failure strikes its bitter blow. Although it is a trait of human nature to feel the hurt and disappointment which are the effects of failure, failure itself must never be permitted to rob us of our initiative to strike back. Failure must be taken for what it is, a reason, a purpose, a spur to activate us to greater heights. And by refusing to permit it to leave us fatally stricken, we can and will eventually triumph over it. But before such a feat can be accomplished, we must believe in our own capabilities to succeed. First and foremost, we must have faith in ourselves. The second member of the threefold family of faith is faith in our fellow man. In order to realize its capabilities, it must be permitted to develop into brotherly love. As little children, we cannot escape its influence. As infants, nature herself forces us to depend upon our parents and guardians for livelihood and support. And before long, this dependence undergoes a series of transformations until it is no longer mere physical dependence, but rather faith in the abilities of our fellow man. For example, how many times did you and I, or for that matter any child, confide all our hopes and cares to the sole protection of our parents? Our faith in them was so strong at times that we often compared them to the heroes of our imagination. Although a situation might exceed our own abilities, we seldom considered it to be too far beyond that of our parents. So strong was our childhood faith. And then suddenly, one day, we find ourselves lost in the strangeness and complexity of a bewildering adult world. No longer can we thrust the burden of our personal welfare upon our parents and guardians. We have become independent. But even with this newly acquired independence, are we to lose that great gift of faith in our fellow man, which had been so much a part of us as children? No, indeed. For how can we ever expect to reach the fullness of happiness and success if we constantly mistrust and refuse to cooperate with those around us? How poor civilization would be If no one had faith in the Galileos, Pasteurs, and Edisons, to whom we of today now owe a debt of gratitude, sincerity and interest, coupled with faith in the works and abilities of our fellow man, are essentials for success in any period of history. Thus, while caution must be taken to avoid an over-generous and careless distribution of this kind of faith, we must always realize its far-reaching powers, and perhaps someday a strong faith in our fellow man can spread brotherly love throughout the nations of the world and accomplish a peace pleasing to men everywhere. The third type of faith is considered by those who have been fortunate enough to experience its divine presence, the most blessed gift of life. This is man's faith in God. To be without it is to miss the very essence of being. To have it is to enjoy the glowing warmth of inner happiness. With faith in God, we are able to accept the misfortunes of life with greater ease to our troubled hearts. It can perform miraculous feats. It can soothe the heavy pains of sorrow where death has left our minds weighed down by grief. It can restore confidence where failure has left our souls depleted of all hope. It can even penetrate to the darkest corners of our hearts to disperse the gloom within and to refill them with a new and radiant joy. Faith in God offers us mortals a companionship with the divine and a sense of security unique in themselves. His holy and ever-watchful eyes shall never leave us to face our destinies alone, as long as we hold a firm and lasting belief in his love. Cleave ever to the sunnier side of doubt and cling to faith beyond the forms of faith.
The salutatory address delivered by Anne Rochelle Accardo. And now the class of 1959 will join their voices in Whitney's No Man is an Island.
Thank you.
situation in high schools in that we have dual salutatorians. 2 students with 96.412 averages. Here's your second salutatorian.
How many times has a life been shattered or damaged with all hope lost? Out of what seems failure and wreckage, success often can and does emerge. On the foggy morning of February 2nd, 1949, a car was traveling on the highway just outside of Fort Worth, Texas. A bus, coming in the opposite direction, passed a truck, unaware of the oncoming driver. Suddenly, there was the screech of brakes, the sound of twisting metal, the shattering of glass, and golfer Ben Hogan was paralyzed. Doctors told him that he would never walk again. With courageous determination, Ben set to work rebuilding his body. He did walk again, and he played golf again. Ben Hogan had attained a greater and more satisfying success than he had ever known. Exactly what is success, and what does it mean to be successful? A dictionary might indicate that to be successful is to reach a desired goal. However, this cannot be a good definition, for a person's goals and ideas for success change with the years. For example, a boy of 5 wants to be a cowboy. At 10, he dreams of being a great athlete, bringing home gold medals from the Olympics. In another 5 years, this same boy is striving for popularity with his age group. On graduating from college, the young man tells himself that he will work hard all his life and become rich and successful, while in another 15 years, he may decide that he has been working too hard and must begin to slow up a bit. With this constant altering of goals, it seems most difficult to attain success in one endeavor before another objective appears. Nevertheless, there are many types of success. One is in the rags to riches category. Charles Dickens, one of the most prominent of our 19th century authors, lived in his youth a life of poverty in England. He began working in a warehouse when his father was put into debtor's prison. Through hard work, he climbed from that humble labor to a lawyer's clerk, newspaper reporter, and finally, parliamentary reporter. In his leisure time, Dickens wrote short sketches, which soon became popular. Financial gain was the result, of course, but Dickens' success is of a nobler and more admirable type. For public acknowledgement is indeed a coveted award, which even money cannot buy. Another outstanding accomplishment is to be able to overcome a physical handicap. The greatest and most inspiring example is Helen Adams Keller. Deprived at the age of 2 of sight and hearing by an illness, she lived for 5 years in a dark, quiet, lonely world. At the age of 7, with heart and determination, she began to emerge from her fearful seclusion. Guided by her companion and lifelong friend, Anna Sullivan, she learned the language of touch, that is, to read in Braille. She attended Radcliffe College and graduated with honors, after which she was a member of the Massachusetts Commission for the Blind. Helen Keller has become well known for her essays and lectures on her experiences. She is truly a great success, both to herself and to those who have followed her, and used her example as a guide and inspiration toward a useful, happy life, a life that seemed at first hopeless. The immediate question is, how can I build a foundation for success? First, you must know yourself, your desires, and your capabilities. You may yearn to be successful in government, science, or the arts. Perhaps for your personal satisfaction, it is necessary to have riches, love, peace of mind, communication with God, or all of these combined. Secondly, you must labor hard for your chosen goal, concentrate, and show determination. Of course, excess of work is undesirable, for there is no success in accomplishing a program if the enjoyment of its fruits is to be hindered by illness and overtension. What you may try to accomplish in a given time may be limited by your physical ability. However, even a sickly person can be extremely successful. Two similar cases are those of Theodore Roosevelt and Robert Louis Stevenson. As a young man, Roosevelt was weak and thin, hardly able to carry his own weight. Nevertheless, he was determined to make something of his life. He did exercises and went out to the Wild West, where he worked on ranches. As he built up his body, he built up his confidence in himself. Robert Louis Stevenson was ill his entire life, but although he was not constructing with brick and steel, he was contributing to mankind with words, as has been noted by his many great books. Along with your daily work, you must think of your own personal health and exercise. Only clean, healthful living can provide the energy needed to work. One necessity for personal success is broad-mindedness, for sometimes self-education is better than a formal education. Be considerate of others, and above all, display excellent traits of character, such as honesty and dependability. The result will be satisfaction by construction. Finally, an individual wonders, when success is attained, how can it be recognized? An immediate response is difficult, for there are first several challenges which must be answered. Have I done what I desired? Have I done it to the fullest of my abilities? Have my efforts aided the society in which I live? If the answer to all is honestly yes, then truly you can say to yourself, I am a success.
That was Alan Eno McKenzie, second of the salutatorians, the class of 1959. And now we turn again to the high school concert band under the direction of Dave Wheeler for the selection St. Louis Cathedral. The pianist tonight with the high school concert band is David H. Bolt. He's a sophomore at Torrington High. salutatory addresses this evening, you have heard spiritual success, personal success. And now for educational success, the valedictorian of the class of 1959, Ruth Carol Barnes.
Are you planning to continue your education? This question is often heard at graduation time. In fact, it has become so much of a convention that we seldom stop to think just what it really implies. Often, we brush it off as a polite variation of the question, are you planning to go on to college? We think it implies concern as to whether or not we are planning to continue the schooling we have begun. If we define an education as the sum total of years spent in school, this assumption is a logical one. But if we say that education is learning, the similarity no longer exists. The opportunity for learning is not confined to schools. We can gain knowledge simply by observing the world around us. If education is learning, life itself is our teacher. The only way we can avoid continuing our education is by committing suicide. The emphasis in our original question, then, should be on the word planning. Are we really planning to make the most of our continued opportunity for learning? All too many of us are perfectly willing to sit back and let life teach us anything it wants to, provided the learning entails no effort on our part. We rationalize this attitude by saying that we will pick up what we need, or by complaining that we have no chance to go to a really good school. This is pure laziness. A planned education is not necessarily a formal education, although it usually is. To reap all the benefits of learning, we need only contribute enthusiasm and a will to work. Life provides us with the tools and materials we need. The rewards of a planned education, whether or not they include a college diploma, are priceless. The man with knowledge and experience in solving his own problems is ready to face any crisis that may occur. Whether or not he has occasion to use it, his education is there as a bulwark when disaster strikes. In the meantime, his wide range of interests is a perfect shield against boredom. Even during moments of enforced loneliness and physical inactivity, his mind can be exploring new and fascinating avenues of thought. The man with wide interests of his own is seldom bored by the conversation of others, either, for he becomes genuinely interested in their ideas. His education leads him to realize the importance of their fields of interest as well as his own. As his education progresses, he becomes less bigoted and more tolerant. Last, and most important, learning is its own reward. There is no compensation like the satisfaction that comes with the solution of a difficult problem. The feeling one man gains from climbing a mountain or building a bridge, another can gain from mastering some new fact. Like mountain climbing and bridge building, learning requires enthusiasm and hard work. The work comes mainly in forming and persevering with a general educational plan which can be adapted to any interests we have or may gain in the future. This plan falls naturally into three divisions. First, in any education, come facts. Facts are the part of learning most easily obtained. They literally jump at us from all directions. We have only to choose the pertinent ones and fix them in our minds. But isolated facts are useless. If we are ever to use them, we must understand them. A memorized fact is balanced on the razor edge of forgetfulness, but an understood fact is safely enshrined in the memory and ready for use. Before we can use our fact, we must know where to use it. We must know how it dovetails with the other facts in our own field of knowledge. And ultimately, we must try to see how our own sphere of interest fits into the great mosaic that is the accumulated wisdom of mankind. And so, the plan is simple: to gather facts, understand them, and weave them together into a fabric of knowledge. It is a never-ending process, for all life is an opportunity to learn. No one is ever too old or too young, too brilliant or too dull, to hear and understand. And so, as you go on through life, ask yourself sometimes, am I really working to continue my education? And always remember the age-old promise to those who seek true knowledge. For everyone that asketh receiveth, and he that seeketh findeth, and to him that knocketh it shall be opened. Tonight, fellow classmates, we say goodbye to the people and places we have known for 4 years. At the same time, we say hello to the future and the opportunities that await us there. Tonight, we say our thanks to the friends, parents, teachers, and administrators who have given us so much. The past has given us tools and knowledge. The future is ours to shape. And so, as past and future meet tonight, we promise them both that because we have been given these 4 years to listen and learn, we will be better men and women, that we will use the knowledge we have received to help others, and that someday, because we have lived and learned, this world will be a better place for those who come after us.
At this time, it is my privilege to present the annual Scholastic and Achievement Awards. These awards have been made possible by individuals and organizations who are vitally interested in the student body and their activities. The Torrington Register Scholarship Cup is awarded by the Torrington Register to the valedictorian of the class of 1959, Ruth Carol Barnes. The Chester E. Bufford Latin Prize, given in memory of Chester E. Bufford, is awarded to James Petrovitz for having the highest rank among the boys for his Latin course. Concordia Lodge number 20, Sons of Italy History Award, is given to Joanne Doyle, who has excelled in the study of history and who possesses those qualities of character, leadership, and service which are expected of good citizens in school and in community life. The Newbery Art Award, presented by Joseph H. Newbery, is awarded to Alma Serbeck for excellence in art. The Unica Club Italian Trophy is awarded to Thomas D. Rendino by the Unica Club for excellence in Italian. The John D. Sulo Memorial Music Award, given by the Unica Club, is awarded to Edith Ash for her ability and leadership in music in the Torrington High School. The National Honor Society Scholarship. Only the highest ranking students in any school throughout the country who are senior members of the National Honor Society are eligible to compete in this national contest. And all the participants are considered as the highest ranking students in their respective schools. This year, the Torrington High School received notification that one of our seniors was a winner, Ruth Carol Barnes. National Honor Society, Bowen People-to-People Scholarship to Ruth Carol Barnes of Torrington High School, Torrington, Connecticut. Value of scholarship, $1,000, plus a European trip. This scholarship is awarded to a member of the National Honor Society who had one of the highest ratings on the General Aptitude Test administered on March 10, 1959. To 2,355 students who achieved the highest scores on the scholarship qualifying test given on October 21, 1958. To 45,548 high-ranking students and members of the National Honor Society, and who has maintained a distinguished school record. Miss Barnes. The Richard Hughes Memorial Prize of $10 for excellence in mathematics, given in memory of Richard Hughes, principal of the Torrington High School from 1935 to 1950, is awarded to Ruth Carol Barnes, who has completed 4 years of mathematics and who has shown the greatest proficiency in this field. The Harold Crandall-Meyer Scholarship of $25 in science is awarded to the student who has been a member of the Tradiscus Club for 3 years, who has had the highest scholastic standing in 4 years of science, who has been accepted at an accredited college for the purpose of majoring in science. This scholarship is given in honor of Harold Crandall-Meyer, who taught science at Torrington High School for 34 years. The recipient is Lawrence Robertson. Warren A. Roper Commercial Club Award of $25 is given in honor of Warren A. Roper, former chairman of the commercial department of the Torrington High School, for his leadership and interest for 36 years. The recipient must have completed the commercial course, have been a member of the commercial club for at least 2 years, have been of service to the school, and have had good qualities of character and leadership. The recipient is Shirley Farnham. The Chester Brooker Scoville History Prize, given in memory of Chester Brooker Scoville, is awarded to the senior boy who has pursued a college course, who has attained the highest rank in United States history, and who will continue the subject in college. This prize of $25 is awarded to Lawrence Robertson. The Torrington High School Spanish Club Award of $25 is awarded annually to a club member who has completed 3 years of Spanish and who has shown exceptional ability and interest in the language. Preference is given to someone who plans to continue the study of Spanish. The recipient is Linda Bedford. The Torrington High School French Club Scholarship of $25 is given to a boy or girl who has taken French for 3 years. The award is based on scholarship and contribution to the French Club. The recipient is Regina Murphy. The Torrington Artists Award of $50 is presented to Judith Gamble, who has been an outstanding art student, who has exhibited at the Torrington Artists Exhibit, and who will continue the study of art. The Valley Park AC Award of $50 is given to the boy who has been active in athletics and who has demonstrated qualities of scholarship, leadership, and citizenship. I am happy to present this award to David Fraunhofer. The Torrington chapter of the National Secretaries Association awards a $50 scholarship to a member of the graduating class who plans to pursue a secretarial career. The recipient is Shirley Farnham. The Boy Scout Mothers Auxiliary of Torrington Scholarship of $50 is awarded to Edward Ostrowski. This award is made to a boy who has been active in the Boy Scouts and who has demonstrated in high school qualities of scholarship, leadership, and citizenship. The Beta Sigma Pi Scholarship. This scholarship of $75 is awarded to a girl interested in art, literature, or music, or to any deserving girl. It is also based on character and leadership, as well as scholastic ability. The recipient is Laura Anderson. Concordia Lodge, number 20, scholarship, Order Sons of Italy, awards a scholarship of $100 to a senior in order to assist in college expenses. This year, the recipient is Richard Bozensky. The Quota Scholarship in memory of Julia McDonald for $100 is given to Carol Gray for her unselfishness, her service to her school, and because she shared with others. The Torcorn Women's Club Scholarship is for $100. The basis for the award is scholarship, character, leadership, and citizenship. The recipient is Linda Bedford. The Torrington Junior Women's Club awards 2 scholarships of $100 each to Martha Plaskett and Judith Baranowski for their This award is given for their scholarship, dependability, and thoughtfulness. The North School Parent-Teacher Association Scholarship of $100 is given to Lawrence Robertson. The recipient must have attended North School 2 full years. The award is based on scholarship, character, leadership, and citizenship. The Julia M. McDonald Memorial Scholarship of $100, given annually by the Southwest School Parent-Teacher Association to a boy or girl who plans to enter a 4-year degree-granting institution and plans to enter the field of teaching. The recipient must have attended the Southwest School for at least 4 years. The award is based on need, scholarship, leadership, and character. The recipient is Joan St. Hilaire. The South End Community Association Scholarship of $100 is awarded to a resident of Torrington in order to assist in his or her college expenses. The selection is based on citizenship, character, scholarship, and need. The recipient